Alrighty, guys, so welcome. Um, Obviously, as you can see from the title, Candice Owens is an anti-Semite based on the latest attack on her, based on a video we're going to play now, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. But yeah, let's see why she's being labeled as an anti-Semite, why the full media machine is in full effect to, label her as one, to discredit anything she's saying. And I think this is going to lead on to a broader point that I believe we should contend and compete with ideas and what people are saying directly rather than who is saying it. I've also seen that she's being labeled like a crazy person, postpartum, she just recently had a baby, a whole bunch of things. Lots of things other than exactly what she's saying. But let's take a look at what it is that has made her an anti-Semite, I guess.
The person that is saying this. Okay. The fact that there are so many conservative commentators who pretend that they're so brave because they're talking about like what happened in the latest Trump thing, blah, blah. And then on the topic of pedophilia, their mom. Okay. I should not be the only one calling out how many times Zionists defend pedophiles and criminals. This is not normal. Okay. Why does Israel allow pedophiles from America to flee and receive protection from their state? Why are we, the country that's funding their bullshit, okay, not allowed to extradite our pedophiles?
So I don't really see anything wrong with that statement. I guess perhaps you could say she's lying and they don't do that. But I think I've seen a few things that's pretty clear that they do. A few headlines, obviously, basically agreeing with what she says. Some as far back as 2020, and there's been no refutation on Israel's part that they don't do this. And I guess it would be quite easy to fix if you ask them to extradite some of these individuals that have been charged with pedophilia or human trafficking or anything like that, to be extradited. Be like, no, we don't harbor pedophiles. You can have them. Let them face justice. So, again, is that inherently anti-Semitic that you just pointing this out, or is perhaps that's the problem that if this was let's say this was Russia was doing this, you wouldn't be labeled anti-Russian for saying it, would you? Something to think about, at least.
Why would you want the pedophiles to be procreating? Unless the nation of Israel may have been established by some Frankists. And it's looking like Theodore Herzl's family was from the exact same area in Moravia and in Bohemia where the Frankist cult was founded.
All right, well, let's see what Google thinks a Frankist is. What is a Frankist? Frankism is a Sabbatean religious movement of the 18th and 19th century, created in Podola, named after its founder, Jacob Frank. Frank completely rejected Jewish norms, preaching to his followers that they were obligated to transgress moral boundaries. At its height, Frankism claimed perhaps 50,000 followers, primarily Jews living in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, as well as in Central and Eastern Europe. So I guess they didn't see morality the same way we did, or same way we do. Okay, well, that's good to know. Now, again, the crux of this argument is that anti-Semitic? Let me know.
Crazy when you get into his family, that like maybe Theodore Herzl, who wrote in a book that he didn't care how many Jews had to die for him to get the state of Israel, like maybe he was not actually a Torah worshiping Jew. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing out some ideas here. And by throwing out some ideas, I mean, I've read a ton of books and I've figured it out. Okay. I am just like so over the idea that Israel is our ally and friend. If another person says that stupid statement, I'm going to personally punch you in the face.
All right, so there's two things there. One, that she's read books that perhaps present an alternative narrative to the mainstream one, and the one that was taught by history. That we can talk about that in the sense that how much of an authority are those books? Are those books biased? From what I know, those books are actually written by Jewish authors, so you can't say they're anti-Semitic, I guess. But that doesn't necessarily give them the authority for you now to take a narrative and run with it. I believe it's kind of the same, two sides of the same coin, where it's dangerous to read one piece of evidence or hear one statement and then create a whole viewpoint around that. And then the second point is, should Israel be considered an ally? I guess it depends on your definition of ally and what it is that you think Israel gives the West, and I guess in this case more specifically the United States. And on the basis of evidence, or at least the evidence, at face value, is not much really. They get billions of dollars a year, and in return they control the American politicians and try to bring Big Daddy America onto their side in any war or conflict they get involved in. So, yeah, perhaps it's worth debating and discussing and not falling down to name calling. Should we consider Israel an ally? On the basis of evidence, based on what's happening in Palestine and historically, I think it's worth a conversation. And I don't think that makes you an anti-Semite to engage in that conversation. So far, very anti-Semitic thoughts here by Candice.
I am. It's going to be me. That's a joke. Don't take this video off of Twitter. Wink. But I cannot stand the people that sound like bots, the spineless cowards, and I'm calling out all of you men, everybody who has a check mark and also has a penis and has not said anything about Israel protecting pedophiles, or has said the statement our friend and ally, but can't justify a statement. I'm talking specifically to you. So if you're sitting there wondering, you're like, hey, I have a check mark and I'm a guy and I have a penis and I've never said, I'm talking to you. Yeah, it's definitely you. I'm talking directly to you, okay? So we've got this friend and ally, and we're not allowed to ask questions about JFK's shooting or the USS Liberty. Yeah. The Mossad there on the day that JFK was shot. The arguments that he was having in the days preceding with their prime minister, still classified. Okay, we're never going to know what they were arguing about.
So I guess maybe the criticism here is that what she's saying is conspiracy theory, but it's not. Factually, what she's saying is true. The point is, none of what she's saying is anti-Semitic. It's just very critical of the Israeli government, and I don't think that should be a problem. I think we should be able to criticize perhaps rogue governments and governments that take decisions to compromise other ones. And I guess the broader point is, we've been watching this for 3 minutes now. It is an 8-minute video, but none of what she said is directed at Jewish people. She's not saying anything that I construe as anti-Semitic. Perhaps you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. But I believe, like the point at the beginning of this video, is we should attack ideas and what people are saying, and not who is saying them. If anything is that she's saying can be disproven, then disprove it and put your ideas out into the marketplace. You could literally comment under an X video and say, you're wrong because of here, and cite this source. Dialogue is much better than suppression, and I believe we need a lot more open dialogue. It seems as though the world is heading to a precipice where we either prosper or we have World War III and we suffer. And I believe dialogue is a way, open dialogue is a way to lead to prosperity. But let me know what you think. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more of my commentary. But yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.